Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Hurt, Heal, Evolve virtual session. I am so happy that you are able to join us. It's been a minute, so I'm going to be on weekly every Thursday, but for the next couple of weeks, I'll be on Tuesday and Thursday because we have a lot of guests that we're going to be talking to before we go back into the studio. So today I have a Bay Area native from my from the state I used to live in, which I miss very, very much. But yes, I'm here in Texas now. But we have the owner, founder, host of Ascending with Toni Rochelle, and she is here to join me tonight on Her Heal Evolve. We're going to talk to her right now. Hi, Toni.
Hi, thank you for having
How are
me.
you?
I'm so excited.
I am excited too. And
I am ascending. That's how I'm doing.
aren't we all? Ascending, hurting, healing, evolving. We're doing it. We're doing it all. We're doing it all. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. The last time I did see you was, you know what? We were at Woman Evolve. So that's where I actually met you, saw you the year before last, talked to you for a second, and then remembered you this past year. I was like, I remember you. You were here last year. So
and you said it's like, I remember you.
Yeah, I remember you. You and I think Ashley. Is that your
yes.
Yeah.
My god sister.
Yeah. So yes, I met her there, and she was just exuding with so much inspiration. I didn't even have a chance to talk to you really. A little bit I did, but you were doing your little thing, your interviews in line, and I was like, yeah, I got to get her on. You are truly inspiring. I don't even know your full story. That's why I was like, I have to get you on, and we have to chat about your journey. So we're gonna start.
I appreciate you not forgetting about me.
For sure not. Like when God drops somebody in your spirit, when you see something, you got to move on it or you'll get in trouble. So I'm not trying to be getting in trouble by nobody. So we're going to start with, I was going to say we're going to start with the walking through, but I think I want to start from now and then go backwards. So you are the founder, CEO, host of Ascending with Toni Rochelle. So tell us what is ascending with, we know the definition of ascending, but for those who don't know, why don't you explain what it is you do?
So Ascending with Toni Rochelle is a platform that I came up with after I was trying to ascend, and I didn't even know I was trying to ascend. So what I like to say is ascending is through the struggle and continue to rise and thrive and prosper, moving on from past pain and hurt, and still trying to build community while overcoming obstacles. That's the definition that I came up with. But ascending also means to not stay stagnant, not to stay at the same level, climbing up the mountain, the ladder. One thing that we all have in common, black, white, yellow, boy, girl, whatever it is that life has showed up for all of us. Right. And what I mean by that is that we go through divorces, we lose our job, we get cancer, our mom passed away, we find out that our daddy is really our uncle. Oh. I'm talking about life. I'm talking about real life stuff happens to everybody. But the thing about it is that when life shows up, we get the choice to say, you know what, I'm mad, I'm upset, that made me angry, but I'm going to keep pushing through. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to stay stagnant. And that's really what ascending means. And what happened was I was going through a divorce, and I thought it was the most devastating thing in the world. I was embarrassed. I was shameful. I didn't want to be going through what I was going through. I didn't know how I was going to survive with being divorced and having 2 children. I just didn't want to do it. And I made a choice. It took a minute because I was wilding out. I was making bad decisions. I ended up in a place where I didn't want to be at. And the Lord spoke to me, and he pretty much told me, like, if you keep living the way that you live in, you're going to end up dying. Right. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm I'm mad at you, Lord. Like, this wasn't supposed to happen to me. You know, like, I did everything the right way. I got married, then I had kids. You know, I did everything the right way, I thought. So why is this tragic happening to me? And he just started telling me to tell my story and talk to other people about their extension. And I didn't understand any of it. And I was like, I'm in the worst place of my life. And this is what you want me to do? Like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to do none of that.
Yeah.
And just walked out on faith, and I started this platform, and people started saying yes to me. I started asking people, like, what does ascending mean to you? And then when you think about ascending, what does it mean to you in the aspect of life, when life showed up? Like, what did you do when your mom passed away? What did you do when your dad denied you? What did you do when you had breast cancer? And people really was like, yes, Toni, I'll tell you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I found out while they were telling me their story, I started healing from that.
Right. So while you were helping others, you were healing yourself. Let me go back for a second, because a lot of women, we don't really talk about the divorce aspect, because I got a divorce as well. So I did it kind of backwards.
Sorry.
So I had the baby first. And then and then got married, and I also had a divorce. And then when you start asking, at that time, I think I was 22, 23. And as I look back on the divorce, and you start asking, like, where did I go wrong, or start questioning God? Now, this might not be your story, but I know it was my situation. I realized that I never consulted with God from the beginning.
Okay.
Like, I was wilding when I got married. You know what I mean? Or leading up to it. So I was born and raised in the church. I'm sure you were as well. We know.
I wasn't.
You were not.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I was not raised in the church per se. I got introduced to God when I was about, well, I take that back. I was probably raised in the church starting at about 12 years old is when I really got introduced to the Lord. But before that, I knew there was a God. Like, my grandmother used to always be like, pray, 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 pray. And I used to get upset with her because I didn't understand why she would always be like, pray. And I'm like, who am I praying to? Why should I do that? Because my mom, I grew up in the foster care system, and my mom was like in and out of prison, and she didn't raise me. And all I wanted to do was be with my mother. And I would say to my grandmother, I'd be like, why don't she love me? Why don't she want to take care of me? Why can't I be with her? Like, why can't she just be my mom? And my grandmother would always be like, pray, pray, pray. And I would pray, but I didn't know what I was doing. But really getting introduced to the Lord, it wasn't until I was like 12 years old.
Okay. So you had a few hurts, and this is going back to childhood. So so it goes, and seeds are planted in your childhood.
Honey, let me tell you something
that you can say in your childhood that was the most traumatic. I mean, outside of being in foster care, that's traumatic.
I mean, I got into the foster care system because, like I said, my mother was on the streets at a young age. She had me when she was 17. And from there, she was on the streets. And she was doing drugs, prostitution, anything you can think of, that's what she was doing. And so during that time, I was living with my great auntie, which was my grandmother's sister. And to keep a story short, I never met my father. I never knew who he was, but I always longed for him. I always longed for my parents, period. And my auntie pretty much took me to these people's house and dropped me off and never came back and got me. And she didn't tell me that she was going to leave me there. She didn't tell me who these people were. And I was just left here with these people, and I ended up getting molested.
Okay.
And so from getting molested, I got into the foster care system because I had a teacher that was always in my business. I call her Miss Nosy Sunshine because she was always in my business. And I'm like, why are you always in my business? But she saved my life. And so from there, I got into the system. Yeah. So I have 4 other brothers. I'm the only girl, but I never was raised with them because they didn't go into the system like I did. So really, I have been ascending my entire life, like not knowing my father, my mom not being present, growing up in the foster care system, in and out of shelters and group homes, and being suicidal, fighting with education because I was being moved around so much. I couldn't read. You know what I mean? I didn't have the schooling and the education that I deserved at the time. And so when this divorce situation happened and God spoke to me about this platform, I had went to one of my friends that's a rapper, and I said, I want you to do a theme song for my show. And he said, well, tell me about your life. Tell me, what you've been through. And I started telling him all these things about my life and, what was going on. And he was like, you've been ascending. And I was like, what does that mean? Because I never heard of that. I heard of the word descending, but I had never heard of the word ascending. But all along, that word has been in the Bible all this time, but I just never noticed it. And so I started thinking about my life. I was like, yeah, I ascended through the foster care system. I ascended without being raised by my mother and my father. I moved to California when I turned 21 with no family here. I ascended with being here. I've been here for 20 years.
What brought you to California?
Why I wanted California? To be an actress.
Okay.
Because I was trying to go to Hollywood, and the way that Tupac made it seem, he made it seem like LA, Oakland, and the Bay and San Francisco was all one hub. That's what I thought. So I thought I was coming to Hollywood, but I came to Oakland.
Right. Well, Oakland is baby Hollywood. We're real sensitive about Oakland.
And that's my town business all day. But that's why I came to California. I was like, I mean, who wouldn't want to come to California from Oklahoma?
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's a big transition. So being in the foster care system, not having the abandonment issues, and that's a lot of what's going on. I think a lot of people can relate to that instance. I know a lot of things happen when you feel that loss because you're searching. You're looking for the love wherever you can get it, and then you end up wherever.
And that's how I felt when the divorce happened, because I thought I was safe. I thought I finally found somebody that loved me and I loved them, and we was gonna live happily ever after. And so that divorce, it crushed my heart. It crushed my spirits. I was gonna take me and my kids out of here because I wasn't gonna leave them here without me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. Going through a divorce is like going through a death.
Yes, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I didn't want that. I didn't want that.
Yeah. So after the divorce, we can move to this. So after the divorce, when did you start ascending with Toni Rochelle? Shortly after the divorce?
It's been about 8. I wasn't even divorced yet. I was going through the process. Okay. So it was about 8 years later. I started it 8 years ago. I was struggling in the Bay Area. I was working a 9-to-5. I was scrubbing toilets. I was driving Uber. I was doing a lot of hosting and modeling in the Bay Area, but I still wasn't surviving. I was still not barely making it financially. And I decided that I was going to go to Las Vegas.
Okay. So Oakland to Las Vegas. I don't know if that's no, I don't want to offend nobody that may live in Vegas. So Oakland to Vegas, that can be considered a minor upgrade a little bit. How did it work in Vegas?
Okay. Not a good idea.
How long did you live there?
I did not go there to live there. I went there to go there. So I went to Las Vegas because I was gonna be a hot mama. Okay, I'm gonna just keep it real. I don't have no shame. I was gonna go to Las Vegas and I was gonna be a working girl. Okay. Because I needed to feed my kids. I needed to survive. I thought that's what I was gonna do. And I was dressed to the T like it and everything. I was ready.
Yeah.
And something happened that day, and I used to smoke weed really bad. Like I was a real big pothead, okay? And I needed to go smoke a blunt. I was like, I need to go smoke, before I do anything, this, and that. So I walked away from who I was with. I was with another girlfriend. And my plan was to go smoke a blunt. That was my plan. And all of a sudden, this guy came out of nowhere, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's talking to me and stuff, and he's like saying all this stuff, and I'm like, "Nah, I'm cool. I'm trying to go smoke my weed. Leave me alone. Like I'm good. I'm good." And he's like, "No, let's go have a good time. Let's go." And I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. Go ahead." So next thing I know, he texts me down this long, dark hallway, and he's like, "You're under arrest." And I'm like, "For what?" And he's like, "Just tell us who your pimp is, and we won't take you to jail." And I was like, "My pimp?" I was like, "I don't have no pimp." He's like, "Just tell us who you working for, who you work for, who you work for. We won't take you to jail, or else you're going to go to jail for prostitution." I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "I didn't even get to be I didn't even get to be one. You about to arrest me?"
Right. I didn't even.
Hold on.
Right. Right.
I'm dressed like this. Like, what's going on? So he took me to jail, and this is a true story. He took me to, he put me in this, I forgot what they call it, but it was like full of girls. It's like the wagon or something they call it. I can't even remember what the name of it, but they put you in this thing, and they took us all to jail. It was just nothing but girls. And I'm like, it was freezing cold. I barely had on any clothes. And I'm like, how did I end up here? Like what's going on? So I get to the county jail, and they doing all the processing people in, and they had me on this cold bench for hours and hours. And I'm just like, Lord, how did I get here? Like, this don't make sense. So finally, after you sitting on this cold bench for so long, they move you to the cell. So once I got to the cell, it was like all kind of women in there just telling their stories, just all kind of stuff going on. So I'm in jail. Let's just be clear. I'm in jail.
Yeah.
So the food comes around. I'm like, I'm not eating none of that. I'm cool. I don't want none of that. Like, I'm about to get out of here. Like, this don't make any sense. So, all the girls started talking to each other, and they're like, "Why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here?" Right. And then they get to me. And I'm like, "Well, I'm here because," and I'm like, "Whatever you do, we don't want to see you back here no more." They was like, "You need to run the other direction. You don't belong here. You don't need to be in this life." And mind you, like they're fellowshipping to me. They're preaching to me, and they're actual prostitutes and murderers and in there for bank robbing and all kind of stuff. And they're like, "You ain't about this life. You don't need to do this. You need to go on with your life and figure out something else. But this is not what you're supposed to do. I don't care what you've been through. Like, this is the girl." See, that's the thing about God.
I was just about to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah.
Honey, God can speak to you in the crack house. Yeah. In the whole house. Yeah. Underneath the rock. Yeah. He will do it.
He will meet you where you are.
He will do it. He will meet you where you are. Because they're up here telling me what I should be doing and what I should be doing, and this and this and that. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Because it'll make your skin crawl. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Like, this ain't making no sense. Like, this, and they like, "Run. I don't want to ever see you in this position again. I don't want this, that." So then they moved me from the cell with all the girls, and then they put me in a cell by myself, which was the worst thing because I'm already claustrophobic. Right. Okay. So I'm in the cell, and then I just break down, and I'm screaming out to God, and I'm like, "God, how did I get here? Why am I here?" Like, just, I thought that once I got an adult out of foster care and all that I was going to have a better life. I thought that I was going to have everything I needed and wanted. Like, I couldn't wait to be an adult so I could be, have a better life. And now this is just even worse, like, this is me crying out to God. I mean, crying out to him. And that's when he told me to start this platform. That's when he said that you're going to be okay, but you need to tell your story, and people need to tell their story to you. And that's the only way your life is going to be saved. Now, mind you, before I had went to Vegas, one of my friends had been trying to get me to go back to church because after I went through the divorce, I stopped going to church because I was heavy in church. I was an usher, everything. My daughter was in the choir. Like, we were heavily involved, hand ties, everything. And I remember this pastor lady coming up to me and she was like, "What's wrong with your face, Toni?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, me and my husband is going through a divorce. And she said, "Well, whatever it is, you better fix it." And she's in my face like this close. And she's like, "Whatever it is, you better fix it, because your daughter's going to despise you if you get a divorce." And she was like, "Fix it, fix it." And she was literally spitting in my face. Instead of her praying for me, instead of her hugging me, instead of her embracing me, telling me that it's going to be okay. I understood what she was saying now, looking back, but her approach was just bad. So that ran me away from the church. That ran me away. And so I didn't want to go back to church after that. But after I left jail.
Yeah.
What was that church that you wanted me to go to again?
Yeah, because it takes an experience. It takes for you to go through something. He'll put you in something in order for you to realize, listen, I'm called, I'm chosen, but you have to go through something in order to get it. I want to ask you this question, because I remember when you said the lifestyle your mom was living. You made a conscious decision when you were going to Vegas to basically emulate what she did. Were you thinking about your mom when you made that decision? Or did that?
No, I was in a survival mechanism
Mode. Okay.
I was in a survival. Yeah. And I had a friend that had been, she was just like, "You got to do what you got to do, girl. And come do this, come get this money." And you know, it was one of them type of situations.
Yeah.
Because I was about to be home. I was about to be homeless for the second time in the Bay Area. And so I just was like, I can't be homeless again, especially with 2 kids. It was different when I was homeless by myself, but now I got 2 children.
Right. Right.
And so I didn't, like I said, I didn't have no family out here. I had a little bit of support from friends, but wasn't nobody about to pay my bills.
Right. That part.
So
that part.
Yeah.
And so many people have your story and are either ashamed, probably actually went down the road, got to the road and actually went down the road. Some people are still in it. What would you tell somebody who is thinking about going down that road? They're at their wits' end. They don't have anybody.
That's not the only way of survival. And you're not going to always feel like this, and you're not going to always be in this position. And I'm telling you, I know I can say that and it sounds easier than said, but the thing is that God ain't going to put more on you than you can't handle. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was prideful. I didn't even want to go apply for food stamps. You know, that's what you pay taxes for. So I could have did that. I didn't attempt to ask nobody to help me because I was ashamed. And we can't be prideful. We can't be ashamed, you know? And, you know, that's just not the right direction to go. Like being in prison, living that lifestyle, it takes you nowhere but to the wrong places with the wrong people, the wrong decisions. And that wasn't nothing but the enemy just trying to get me, because he knew that I had a light on me. And all I could hear was like, you know, you got to survive. You got to survive. You got to survive. But when I think back on it, even though I say I was struggling, which I was dang near about to get evicted. And the Lord didn't let that happen to me.
Right.
He didn't let that happen.
Right. And then you had people in your cell with you ministering to you.
Prostitutes.
That was their job.
Drug addicts. People in there that kills. There was a lady in there that just killed her husband that was in there. She was going to get transferred to prison. And she was in there. You know what I mean? Mostly all the women that's in prison right now has something to do with a man. You know what I mean? And I didn't want that for, you know, at the time I didn't know that I didn't want that, but it could have ended up differently. They could have not gave a dang about me. They could have never talked to me. They could have never. And I was like, why do y'all care? And they was like, because we could see your light. Yeah. Sometimes you can't see the light in you, but other people can see the light in you. And I know that's crazy. it's crazy because I've been dealing with my self-esteem my whole entire life. I didn't know that I was pretty until I came to California.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have low self-esteem, low confidence, that's how you feel. You feel like you're not worth that. You feel like you got to do things that you shouldn't be doing or have no business doing. But when you build up your self-esteem, you know that you don't, it won't go down like that.
Right.
And it's a constant thing. People can say that you're pretty and this, but you have to deeply believe it yourself. People can say you're smart or that your light is shining, but you have to believe it for yourself.
Right.
But
it's
don't do it, baby girl.
Yeah. I know you can probably go on for forever. When you went to the pastor in the church, or that pastor lady that you said came to you and said that about the divorce, is that the church that you stayed at? Did you stay at that church?
So when I came back from Vegas and I went to church, I went to this church that my friend had been telling me to go to. She was like, come to this church. It's completely different than any church you grew up in or that you've been to. It's very diverse. This and that. And she was like, and it's 5 minutes away from your house. And so I went to this church, right? And you know how when you ain't been to church in a long time, you feel like the pastor is speaking directly to you. I was like, did somebody tell him my business? What's going on? I feel like he only looking at me.
Right.
So after the end of church, they did the altar call for special prayer and stuff. So I have 2 children. So I took my son on one side and my daughter on the other side, and we walked up to get prayer. Now, mind you, it's all these people up there that I could have went to. And I go up to this one particular lady, and I don't know if she could just feel my presence or whatever, but she starts praying for me, and I just started crying. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing about me as a Christian that I always wanted to do was I always wanted to get the Holy Ghost, and I always wanted to speak in tongues. And I thought that only special people could do that, because I had never done it. I was like, I don't know if people making it up. Is it really real? Like, I've never experienced that.
Right.
And so she's praying for me. And I kid you not, I start purging all that weed, all that Hennessy, all them bad decisions, all them devils that was on me. I started purging. I was crying. I was getting the Holy Ghost. I was speaking in tongues. And I'm like, how am I doing this? Wait. I can feel myself, but it wasn't me. It was the Holy Spirit. And I was like, it was scary at first. It was because I wasn't familiar with it. It was something that I had never been introduced to personally. But it went on for over an hour. So they ended up having to take me to the back room. They took me to the back room. And when they took me to the back room, I couldn't even open my eyes. My eyes were pretty much shut. But I was still speaking in tongues. I was still getting the Holy Spirit. And people were laying hands on me, praying for me. And then when I finally calmed down, they said, what is the Lord telling you? And I said, the Lord told me that I need to get baptized right now. And I was like, okay, well, let's get you baptized right now. And I went and I got baptized, and I ain't never been the same.
And they've never been the same. Look, that Holy Ghost, listen, because that's a whole nother show. That's probably on my Set Apart the Remnant show, because that's something people don't, that's something people think they don't need. That's something they don't need that part. But that's another show.
It's real.
It's really real.
I'm just saying it's real. I'm just saying it's real.
Yeah, and necessary. So for all those on that journey, that's a little nugget. You get saved, you accept the Lord, and seek the Holy Ghost, because that's your keeping power. That's your keeping power. So ascending now. Where is ascending? What does ascending look like for you now? Because you said it's an ongoing process, just like healing.
It's a lifestyle. Let's just say that. Because don't think that after I got saved, don't think after I got the Holy Ghost, after I speaking in tongues, that I was okay. Don't think that everything was okay after that, because that's when the real stuff started coming. Okay.
Right.
fast forward, I'll talk about like this last year that I've been through. Let's talk about the last 2 years. I worked at a job for 16 years and I lost my job during the pandemic because I didn't get vaccinated in time. That was another death to me because I thought I was going to retire from that job. And once again, here I am in a stability of 2 kids. Now I don't have a job. I was trying to bring in a supplement income, but now I ain't got a job.
Right.
And you know, after being divorced for some time, I decided to start dating again. And I started dating a man, and I just knew I was never going to get married again. I was never going to be in love again, and that. And I fell in love again. And I actually ended up getting engaged last year on Valentine's Day.
Congratulations.
And then yeah, congratulations.
Okay.
But a month later, he committed suicide.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. I
Yes,
am
ma'am.
so sorry. I was not expecting that. I'm sorry.
When I tell you that I'm living a lifestyle of ascending, that's what I mean by that. What I'm talking about is that when you get a flat tire and you on your way to work and you got to be in a meeting, what you gonna do? You gonna stop everything and just cry and just stay in the middle of the street and not do nothing? Or are you gonna call AAA? What are you gonna do when you find that you have a lump in your breast? Which I did. I had breast cancer. You see what I'm saying? There's been so many things that I've had to ascend through. And when I want to be clear when I say through, not get over, because ascending is getting through something, not getting over something. You know, because the hurt is always going to be there. The pain is always going to be a struggle. But I'm able to smile at you right now. I'm able to tell you my story. I'm able to show up for myself and my children.
Right.
And a lot of that is because I did a lot of the work before the storm came. Because when that happened to me, I was ready to take myself out. But I have 2 children. And once again, I'm asking God, like, why? Why am I going through this? How is this possible? Like, why do I have to keep, you know, it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. And you just don't know why. But it's like I said earlier, he ain't gonna put more on you than what you can handle. Right. And I'm still battling that every day since that happened. It's coming up on a year.
Yeah.
So
and God still knows. God still knows. That kind of left me speechless because I was not expecting that. I will definitely, and it will make you think, where do you go from here? And then especially, when were you diagnosed with the breast cancer?
This what year was 2025, 2024, 2023. Was it 2022? It was either 2022 or 2023. But the thing is that they got the tumor out. It was crazy because they found the tumor and then they took the tumor out, and I had the surgery and I was pretty much good after that. I didn't have to have no radiation, no chemo or anything. It's almost like I didn't even have it. And then I got into a depression for that because I had worked in the hospital for 16 years and I seen people dying. I seen people's hair falling out. I seen people with one boob. And I'm like, I thought I was going to die. And I actually was looking forward to it. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like I thought that was my way out. Yeah. I thought that it's time to go. Like I was okay with that. Yeah. And then God was like, nope, you still got more to do. That's right. Devil is a liar.
Yeah. And we share the same story because I was diagnosed with kidney cancer in 2022. And just like you, they removed it. It was a small tumor, which they found by accident. I went in there totally for something else. And they were like, oh, we, see this. So it was a miracle and a blessing. I had to thank God for the pain that I was having that wasn't even associated with the tumor. If it wasn't for the kidney stone that was causing me the pain, they would have never found the kidney cancer, which she said, usually with kidney cancer, people are coming to me when they have visible symptoms, like they are like stage 3, 4. Because he was even like, how did they even find this? I was like, it was totally an unrelated pain. So we share a lot of
that's why God don't make no mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. Out of all the people at Woman Evolve, the thousands and thousands and thousands of people, I bump into somebody from my same city, from my same state. And we ended up connecting. This is not hardly over. I'm gonna have to have you come to the studio, and we're gonna have to like collaborate on a different level, because your story goes on and on and on.
And I'm only giving you just
just a little bit.
I'm not even. Yeah, and I just want to go back a little bit about the breast cancer ladies. Like when I was losing weight, I was like getting so small, so little, and people kept saying you. And I knew, and I was like, oh, I'm just depressed, and I was going through a bad depression at the time, and I was annoying, and I literally felt it. And so as soon as I felt what I felt, I went directly to the doctor. And I just want people to, women to be cautious of that. Like, make sure you do your exams. Make sure you pay attention to your body. Make sure you go to the doctor. Yeah. Because that's what saved me. That's what saved me. You heard me say I didn't have to have no chemo, no radiation, no nothing.
Me either. Yeah.
I was in the bed for maybe a week, and that was it.
And that's awesome. Listen, for all the stuff that you've been through, you have to have a purpose that you probably still don't even get the gist of everything that you have to do. You got work to do.
And I don't. And you're right. You're so right. I'm learning every day. Every day. And that's why I started my day praising the Lord. I started my day, thanking him for another breath of air. Yeah. Because I was a person that was wishing and hoping, and this goes out throughout my whole life. Lord, please don't let me wake up tomorrow. Lord, please let me die. Lord, please let me only live to 20 years old. Please let me only just live to 25. You know what I mean? That was my daily story my entire life.
Right.
My entire life. But I don't know why he thought I was supposed to be somebody's mama.
Right.
Okay. But he did.
Twice. Two times over. Yeah.
2 times.
You have a boy and a girl?
And a boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Best of both worlds. Yeah.
And they are my heartbeat. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
They are the best part of me. Like they are my little best friends. They are my little babies. And they make me the way that I am. Why am I like this? Because of them. Yeah. Like I could never imagine abandoning them. I can imagine never wishing to be dead and not be here for them or with them or be all up in their business and smelling them and kissing them. Like they saved my life. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. And he knew what was needed in order to get you to where he wanted you to go. And you have so far to go. And I'm so excited that I met you. And I'm so excited that I'm going to be working with you in the future. Because it's things like this is the reason how we know what our purpose is. And, with each individual platform, how you're reaching people that you don't even know that you're reaching. You know what I mean? Even when you think you're not putting a dent in anything that's going on in society, you are. You are.
Thank you.
And we just have to believe that and know that there is purpose. And we have bigger purpose and more to come. This was great. This was awesome. I look forward to continuing. Like I said, we're going to end it there with Toni Rochelle. You will see her again for sure. So give them your information. Where can they find you on your social media, all social media outlets? Do you want to plug everybody?
Sure. You can find me at Ascending with Toni Rochelle on all platforms. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Well, actually, I don't use Twitter, but TikTok. I'm starting to love TikTok a lot.
Hopefully they'll keep it around.
TikTok.
There's some positivity on there.
I know.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, all the above. And if anything else, just Google Toni Rochelle or Ascending with Toni Rochelle. I'm gonna pop up. I'm also a model and an actress, so I have my hands in a lot of different things. And my birthday's coming up next Monday.
It's really coming up. And okay.
Yes,
okay.
coming up. I'm gonna be 21 forever, so don't ask me my age.
I would never. Well, happy birthday to Tom.
Yes, thank you. I'm having a live ascending show with Toni Rochelle on January the 14th. And for those of you that's in the Bay Area, the tickets are on sale on Eventbrite. You can type in Ascending with Toni Rochelle, and it's going to be a live ascending show. And I'm going to be talking to 2 guests about their extension of how they have ascended through life. Every time I want to give up on this platform, God says no. Yeah. Every time I think that it's too hard or it's not helping someone, God says keep going. And so I appreciate you having me on this platform. I appreciate you caring about my platform. And I'm grateful that we ran into each other not once, but twice.
Yeah, that part. In 2 years. Yeah.
And I love what you're doing with your platform too. We are definitely sisters because we're doing the same thing. We're doing God's work. And that's what this is. It's a ministry without even knowing it's a ministry.
Yes, it is. Where can we watch the live ascending on the 14th? Is it going to be on YouTube? Is it?
It's going to be streaming on YouTube, and there's another platform, and I don't know. I don't have that information right now, but if you guys follow me, that information will be posted right before the show. Like I said, thank you. Like I said, it is a live show, but we are planning to stream it as well.
Okay. Yes. I'm going to show a couple of these comments in here before we head out of here. That is Rachel said, keep going. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you all for joining. We appreciate you. Remember, make sure if you're not subscribed to Hurt Heal Evolve, it's on YouTube. The Hurt Heal Evolve show is listed on Instagram. You can follow me on all platforms. We will be back on Thursday with another guest. Will is blessed, so you don't want to miss that one. Thank you again, mamas. Don't hang up. You stay right there. They're going to see the outro.
Okay.
Blessings to everybody. You guys, Happy New Year to everybody, too. I don't think I said that at all when I came on here. That's horrible. So Happy New Year to everybody. We made it. God seen us through.
We made it.
We made it.
Y'all keep
All right. Bye, everybody. See you on Thursday.